Hari Om. Let's start with the prayer. Om Samasta Jana Kalyane Niratam Karunamayam Namami Chinmayam Evam Sadgurum Brahma Vidvaram Vasudeva Sudam Devam Kamsa Chanura Mardanam Devaki Paramanandam Krishnam Vande Jagadgurum Tvameva Mata Cha Pita Tvameva Tvameva Bandhuscha Sakha Tvameva Tvameva Vidya Dravidam Tvameva Tvameva Sarvam Amadeva Deva Tvameva Sarvam Gurudeva Deva. Hari Om. Doing the question and answer session on Vedanta. One of the questions that are raised is what is Laya and what is Pralaya and also what is Mahapralaya. What's the difference between all these three? Now we have to look at the way the Hinduism or in Hindu Sanatana Dharma, the time factor has been division. So we have essentially the Masa and also Masa means month and Samvatsara and also that is a year, and at the same time we have every year continuously and the 60-year cycle, and then we have a Laya and all other details. First let's ask what is Laya. Laya is corresponding to the individual experience wise. We have a waking state, we have a dream state and a deep sleep state. And waking state, I am experiencing the waking world. So I am a waker and there is a transaction in the waking state which is world different from me. That's why I am transacting. That's the waking state where I am a waker is there. And I am a conscious entity. Everything else is, from my point, is unconscious entities or jadam. Now when I go to dream state, again there is a dream world which is different from the waking world, even though impressions of the waking world get carried away into the dream world, and there I enter as though after creating my own dream world, enter as though as an individual in my own dream, different from other individuals and the plants and the beings and all that. So all 9 yards are there again in my dream world where I am seeing Akasha, Vayu, Agni, Abha, all 5 elements are there, and I have the 5 sense organs where I can see and I can touch all that, and also karmendriyas where I can talk, all those things also within the dream. So dream is not real for a dreamer, dream is real for a dreamer as long as he is in the dream. Only waker says that was not real. So I am a waker in the waking state, I am a dreamer in the dream state. I am the same subject. Now when I go to deep sleep state, neither there is a waking world nor a dream world, where in the waking and the dream world there is a subject-object duality is there, transactions are there, and there is all activities are going on. When I go to deep sleep state, there is no subject-object duality, and there is no world that I am conscious of. So what happened to the world? So if I am a chemistry professor in the waking state, what happens to all my knowledge of chemistry, all my students, everybody, all that? Nothing will happen. They go into subtle form where that is not expressible but is still inherently hidden in a subtle form. So what exactly form we don't know, but at least that in the mind itself as though folded along with the subject-object duality. And what is there? No absence of subject-object duality or no knowledge of any subject-object duality, and that's called ignorance of the world itself, because no world is nothing but subject-object duality. So that's why everything is Laya, dissolved as though into my own mind, as though, and it's not a permanent dissolve, it's only in the subtle form, because when I get up in the morning again, I remember all my details or everything, what my schedule and everything, what I planned for next day and all that, everything is as it is, and only date has changed. So when I wake up, that whatever in the subtle form is expressed back as though created in the waking state. So from my point, these three states going into the deep sleep state is called Laya, where everything goes into the subtle state. And I am not conscious of myself also, because that notion of that I am, this is also gone into subtle state. What is there is only pure consciousness reflected by a mind which is in a subtle state. Same way you can think of at a global level where the Brahmaji also creates and he also gets tired and he wants to sleep. What happens to the whole creation that is there going on? All the creation goes back into Brahmaji's in the form of his Laya. We call it as a Pralaya because Brahmaji is gone to sleep. And therefore the whole world is in now subtle form with all the 14 lokas and the jivas, everything has gone into subtle form. And when he wakes up again, then the whole thing will start. Creation from subtle to the grosser forms. Just as when I wake up, the subtle to gross form is coming into picture. So Laya at the individual jiva level and at the Brahmaji level, and which is called creator, he goes to sleep, and that's called Pralaya. But the essence is that just as when I go to deep sleep state, all things go into only a subtle form, same way the whole creation goes into a subtle form and expresses back again as it was before with all those things together, and that becomes a new creation. So creation is not something out of nothing. Creation is nothing but subtle form expressing into a grosser form, again going back into subtle form. And one Pralaya is somewhat similar to this Big Bang. If you look at what is the age of the universe and calculate in terms of backwards, the billions and billions of light years ago or years ago, that Big Bang occurred. And that is similar to the projection of the universe in each Pralaya by the Indian astronomers, in the sense that when Brahmaji goes to sleep, the whole thing goes, and again Big Bang has to occur. So it's called the Big Bang repetition. So there is a collapse of the whole Big Bang and recreation. Same thing happens. It is a Laya, and from the point of that is a Pralaya from Brahmaji. And when Brahmaji becomes very old, he also has to quit, and another new Brahmaji has to appoint it. Then it's called Mahapralaya, and that means that then whole creation starting with the Brahmajis and dawning with the creators, and all that nine hearts has to be created, and that is a surplus form. And when it is started, this is the creation according to this one is a beginningless. So always growing from a subtle form to a grosser form is a creation. Going into a subtle form is called Laya, and coming in back into the grosser form is called the creation. So creation and Laya dissolution, and in between the sustenance during when it's created, all are part of the theory of our creation itself. And within the one creation, you have different yugas. Since you have a Kali Yuga, and all yugas rotated, and there are several yugas together forming a total Pralaya itself. So everything is calculated and portrayed in some of numbers, which can be compared with perhaps the Big Bang theories and all that. And people have done it and show that it is somewhat similar, and therefore the Indian astronomers could predict all those things in advance, and that's called Laya and Pralaya and Mahapralaya. With that we stop. Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnavadachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamiva Sishyate. Om Shanti 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 Harihi Om.